And the next up on stage, we are going to have the co-founder of DappRadar. He started his blockchain adventure more than 10 years ago, and more exactly in 2013. And how, through one of his friend's stories about mining Bitcoin, he then started developing a passion for the intersection of gaming and smart contracts, a passion that further led him to starting his own company in 2018. So let's give a warm welcome to Dragos.
Hear me? Oh, okay. Hi, I'm Dragos. I'm one of the co-founders of DappRadar. I'm super excited to be here. It is the first time I'm attending a conference in Bucharest. I'm Romanian, but I'm living abroad for more than 10 years now. So yeah, I'm super happy to be here and to be able to share some of my journey, some of the experiences that I've seen along the way, and maybe any of that could help you going forward in your journey as well. So, yeah, as you can see, I'm Dragos. As I said, I'm one of the co-founders of DappRadar. If you don't know what DappRadar is, it is the world's app store. So think about the Play Store or the App Store on the iPhone. And it is the leading platform for app discovery and analytics. So if you want to discover a game, if you want to discover an NFT collection, a DeFi protocol, or see the most popular ones, the ones that have the most users, you can go to DappRadar. We're tracking more than 60 blockchains. We have more than 14,000 dApps listed and more than 40,000 NFT collections across all these blockchains. Before I go forward, I just want to share a quick story about how I've started, because I think this might be encouraging for some of you if you're looking forward to build something in the Web3 space. I think my story could help some of you to understand what were my let's say my highlights, because it's like nothing nothing extraordinary, but I think it's fairly interesting. So I've started being active in the gaming industry back in the days. I've worked for a few gaming companies, and I also built my own products and my own little projects, let's say, in the gaming space. And I was working with, I don't know if you're familiar with the CS:GO skins or Dota skins, like the Steam skins, in-game assets. And I was building some platforms for those skins. Later on in 2013, I've purchased my first Bitcoin. A friend informed me about that, and I was not really super familiar with the blockchain, but I wanted to learn more about it. So I started by buying something there, as a lot of the people back in the day started their journey. And later on, I mean, in the meantime, I kept building gaming projects. I kept building around in-game assets. And why this is important is because in 2017, I have discovered CryptoKitties. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with CryptoKitties, but it is the first major Ethereum project that went mainstream. Like you could hear in the news about CryptoKitties, you could read, you could hear people talking about that, Reddit, Twitter, and so on. So, I mean, that sparkled my interest because, again, being in the gaming industry, that immediately clicked with me, because those in-game assets could be immediately ported to the blockchain. And you're not just limited by the Steam marketplace, because anybody can trade NFTs anywhere they want. So that was an instant realization that there's much more out there, and there could be a lot of things being built on the blockchain using NFTs especially, but in general smart contracts. And obviously, because this was super interesting to me, like a few months later in 2018, I have started DappRadar along with a friend that I've met online. So also, I think that's a nice learning. Just met a Lithuanian guy on an online forum, and then we both co-founded DappRadar. 6 years later, here we are. DappRadar is the leading platform. We have more than 1 million visitors each month, and a lot of users. And again, we're working with a lot of blockchains and applications in the space. So I'm a builder since forever. Keep building. I think that's super interesting. And it will definitely lead somewhere. So yeah, that's my quick journey. And again, I hope this is encouraging for anybody that's building in this space. This is the agenda for today. So I'm going to go back a bit to 2020, 2021. We're going to look at some data. DappRadar is a very data-driven platform. We're tracking all these blockchains. We're looking at all the data that's on-chain, and then we're deriving easy to read, let's say, data points. So we're going to go back a bit to 2020, 2021 to see how the market played out, how NFTs became, let's say, popular and mainstream. And after that, we're going to look at the current market, where NFTs are today, what are the most popular blockchains for NFTs, what are the most popular marketplaces for NFTs, and how various projects in various industries are using NFTs. And then we can look at the future, see what could be the next innovations in the NFT space. And then at the end, we'll see if there's anything to learn from all these stories. So let's go. Here, I also want to say about the NFTs. Again, being in the space since 2018, 17, I've talked to a lot of VCs. Like, we've managed to raise a few rounds for DappRadar. And back in the days, nobody believed in the NFTs. Like, we were talking about that, we were sharing a lot of data. They were not that interested. They were always telling us, that's not really something that we care about. We like DeFi, we like tokens. That's the future. NFTs are not something that we like. And I mean, 6 to 10 months later, they found it super interesting because all the prices skyrocketed. So then all of them started to invest in in crypto projects that were looking at NFTs. This is let's say, a slideception of a slide that we've created back in 2020 for a presentation that we gave at the Crypto Games conference back in the days. And we were like at the end of 2020, and we were kind of predicting in a certain way that DeFi and NFTs are going to be the next wave. And it's super important to understand that the market is cyclical. We've seen these cycles. I've been building, and being in this super special position, I think, of working at DappRadar. A lot of the projects are listing themselves on DappRadar, so we can see what's popular, we can see what people are building, and we were always super up to date with what was being built at that time. And we were seeing a lot of people building in the NFT space, gaming, and a few other projects. So we thought NFTs are going to be big, and it played out pretty well in the future. And we can see a chart here. There are like three main points. We have the Bitcoin price, we have the CryptoPunks floor price, and we have a DeFi index. The Bitcoin price, I mean, it's pretty clear. The CryptoPunks floor price, I think, it is representative for the early days of the NFT market. It's one of the major projects with a super high market cap. Maybe not that relevant nowadays, still a top project, but in the meantime, a lot of new innovative projects, or like other PFP projects like Bored Apes and so on, were built and launched. So I don't think it's still the main project, but it's definitely representative for those early days. And then we have the DeFi index, which is a basket of tokens that are representing all the major blue chips during those days. So I want us to look at how the market played out, and we can see that Bitcoin started to raise in price, and then also DeFi closely followed that. And I mean, it kept going, and it reached an all-time high here. Same for DeFi, like everybody. This was the DeFi summer. Again, I don't know how many of you were part of the market back then, and if you were participating in a lot of those DeFi projects, that's probably the first degen market that I've participated in. Concepts like yield farming or liquidity mining and so on were established during that period. So like all these things, like Uniswap launched a token, Aave was growing, Compound, MakerDAO, like all the major and the old DeFi projects were built and went mainstream and established themselves as the market leaders during this period. That was let's say, the golden era of the blue chips. And we can see CryptoPunks, like nobody was really thinking what's going to happen next. Sure, the believers and the people that were super close to the industry were buying or were trading NFTs, but it was far from what happened later on in the market. And I think it's pretty interesting to see that like when the DeFi market started to go down, when Bitcoin started to go down as well, like from around 60K to 30K, we were also seeing a growth in NFTs. Again, being an active participant of the market, I've seen a lot of the a lot of the DeFi influencers, a lot of the people that were doing technical analysis and so on tokens and Bitcoin before, suddenly started to be interested in NFTs. A lot of the VCs started to suddenly invest in crypto projects, in NFT projects. And that basically led to a growth. A lot of the capital moved from DeFi, from Bitcoin. It started to shift into NFTs. That was the next cycle. And this is why I was presenting the previous slide, because I want us to understand that there's always a cycle. Of course, Bitcoin recovered and it reached a new all-time high here. DeFi never really recovered from there. This was the top. Sure, a lot of things were built, a lot of new innovations came into the market, but the prices, the liquidity mining, and all the APRs that we were seeing back then, that was not the thing. Of course, we can see something similar to what's happening right now on Solana or like meme coins, but yeah, it's definitely not at those levels of trading volumes that we were seeing back then in DeFi. But that basically helped us build the market that we have today, like the centralized exchanges that led to a lot of innovation and a lot of people building great things. And we can see CryptoPunks, again, being a representation of the NFT market. Of course, in the meantime, a lot of new projects were launched, as I said, Bored Apes, for example. But here, like we've basically reached the top of the CryptoPunks floor price, and everybody heard about NFTs back in like during that period. So I have some slides here, some images here from 2021, and we can see these were the days when like a Beeple NFT sold for $69 million, and a lot of like CryptoPunks being sold for 10 millions, 11 millions, and so on. We can see that the trading volumes in a quarter reached more than $10 billion in one single quarter, with Sandbox and like during the metaverse hype, and CryptoPunks and Axie Infinity leading the whole blockchain gaming sector. So these were the golden days, let's say, of NFTs and the trading of NFTs. Yeah, we can see this is a chart around Axie Infinity and how it grew to be the top project in the NFT space, and brought, again, a huge market to the blockchain gaming and NFT space. Here are some of the influencers that started to talk about NFTs and purchase NFTs. So this was let's say, the golden era, the hype era of NFTs, and everybody started to hear about that and about NFTs. And I think after that, this is the same chart. Earlier we were just looking at this part here. This is up to today, so we can see how things are going today and where we are now. And we can clearly see that DeFi in that current form never got back. We can see CryptoPunks having some increase lately, but it definitely doesn't catch up with the Bitcoin so far, with the Bitcoin price so far, and the rest of the market, of course. So why I'm sharing this chart is because a lot of my friends, a lot of the people that I'm talking to, partners, clients, they're asking me, are NFTs dead? Are we going to see NFTs back to where they were previously? Are we going to see those trading volumes once again in the NFT space? And I mean, the truth is, I don't know. But again, getting back to the cycles, maybe we'll see that happening once again. We just need to wait, and we need to look for the narratives, and we need to look at how the money and how the capital is shifting from one narrative to another. And again, just looking back at how NFTs were trailing after Bitcoin and DeFi, maybe it can happen again now with Bitcoin and meme coins. So a lot of the capital that people are kind of growing right now, trading meme coins, trading Bitcoin, that might start shifting into NFTs. So we need to wait and see, but this is definitely something that is happening, something that happened before, even at smaller scales. This is a very zoomed out version and oversimplification of the market dynamics. But I think this is something interesting that we all need to keep in mind, and we need to, let's say, look at the data to understand how things are progressing in the market. Now, I'm going to look a bit more into what's happening today, what happened in the last quarter of this year, just to, again, better understand where we were and where we are today. So these are the top 10 blockchains sorted by also trading volume for the past 2 quarters. In 2023, that's a mistake there, it's actually Q4, and then we have Q1 of this year. We can definitely see an increase, as we were also seeing in the previous chart. There are definitely more NFTs being traded, but it is definitely not at the levels that we were seeing in 2021. Right now we are at around $5.9 billion total trading volume on the top blockchains. Back in the days, we were like at over $10 billion, as I was saying earlier. So we're still seeing a 40% increase quarter over quarter, so that's still pretty interesting. Ethereum is still leading in terms of trading volumes, which is pretty interesting considering that Solana grew a lot. Bitcoin ordinals are, like, let's say, the hype right now, also with runes coming up. So they're definitely strong contenders, but this is how the market looks like, and I think we're going to see how things are going to evolve in the future. There are definitely some changes to the previous days. We can see Bitcoin, we can see Solana, we can see Immutable X, chains that were not that popular in the previous bull run. So we will see how that will play out in the future. This is the data is very similar here. It's just that it's splitted by NFT marketplaces, and these marketplaces are across all the major blockchains again, and we can see Blur remaining the top NFT marketplace with $1.5 billion. And I mean, yeah, OpenSea is not a top marketplace anymore, and that's pretty surprising. I mean, given the lead that they had, they didn't manage to compete, and they didn't manage to keep up with the market. Blur, I think they did the right moves, and that definitely shows in the market share that they've acquired. Magic Eden is also growing aggressively. They've launched on Bitcoin, they've launched on Solana, and they have a lot of innovation, I think, in their product. But also they have interesting rewards programs, and that definitely shows up also in the data. We can see that we can see here that, like, they with their latest rewards program, their trading volume went up from 3 billion in February to 8 billion in March. And OKX established themselves as well as a marketplace for trading Bitcoin NFTs. And now we have Unisat and Magic Eden growing as well on that market and actually taking the market share from OKX. So the market is totally different from what we were seeing before. And that's why I'm saying it's very hard to predict what's going to happen next. Yeah, it's a new market, it's an interesting market, and we're going to learn how things are going to progress forward. Now, I want to put the data aside a bit. I think all of that is interesting. It is highly speculative, absolutely. It is all based on profit and, like, trying to make the next, let's say, the next $1 billion NFT collection. Yes, but I think NFTs are just more than that. And, like, this is something that I want to highlight in today's presentation. Of course, I wanted to use the data to show where we were, where we are. But I think NFTs are much more present today than were like 2-3 years ago. Because right now, NFTs are being used in DeFi. If you are familiar with how Uniswap works, in Uniswap v3, you have liquidity positions as NFTs. You have membership, you have on-chain reputation, you have loyalty programs, gaming, music, all these, and these are just a few examples. It is definitely much more than that, but NFTs are everywhere. The technology that is enabling NFTs to work, it is everywhere. It is on more and more chains as the time passes. And I think that's something that we all need to keep in mind, because NFTs are not just about trading volumes, are not just about the floor price. It's more about the technology. And as a builder, I care much more about this, and I care much more about the innovation that our industry can bring into the world than just speculating on some NFTs. I think that's the fun part, that's the interesting part. People can make a lot of money, and I think that's still part of the culture in the industry. So I'm not discarding that, but I think the technology is much more important than the speculative part of the NFTs. Here, I want us to also look at how that can evolve and how NFTs can become even better than they are today. So again, just putting the trading volumes aside and so on, I think we're going to see NFTs even more present. And I don't have the chart here, but I was looking at the on-chain data, and I can definitely see today many more transfers and many more mints of NFTs than we were seeing in 2021. And again, this is because a lot of the projects and the majority of the projects in the blockchain space are using NFTs in one way or another, either for loyalty, either for again, like DeFi ownership and so on. So I think we're going to see, these are like a few areas that we're definitely going to see improving and growing in the next few months, in the next few years. We can see decentralized social media. You should definitely look for at Lens Protocol if you're not familiar with that. Lens Protocol is using NFTs to mint profiles, is using NFTs to mint the content that people are publishing on chain. So you can just use a different front end because all the content, the following base and everything else is stored as NFTs. So you can just use a different app, you can use a different interface. The same content, the same data is going to be there. Uniswap v4 hooks, like that's going to enable a lot of innovation on the DeFi space. ERC 6551, that's also going to enable an NFT to hold tokens and NFTs inside an NFT, and that's just blowing my mind because there's so many things that we can build on top of that. ERC 404, this is like the baby of ERC 20 and ERC 721. If you're not familiar with these terms, I'm sorry. I don't have that much time to go into more details about those standards, but those are token standards, and you should definitely explore those. We have real-world assets, we have gaming NFTs, we have runes on Bitcoin. So I think there's a lot of innovation that's going to happen in the NFT space in the coming years. So NFTs are definitely not dead. They're just getting better. And I think this is the quote of my presentation. Trading volumes are not representative of the NFT technology. I think NFTs are everywhere. And again, they're not dead, they're just getting better. And I think we should all keep this in mind, and we should all try to build and keep building in the NFT space, because I think it's just going to make everything, and a lot of the industries are going to make them better. So a few takeaways that you should all keep in mind. The industry is cyclical, keep this in mind. It keeps growing, different narratives are happening all the time. NFTs are here to stay. We need to keep building, even during the bear markets, even during the bull runs. I've been here for 6 years, I've been through a few bull runs, I've been through a few bear markets. It's always difficult to build when nobody's interested in what you're building, but we need to keep doing it. I think this is our job. We need to take informed decisions and use DappRadar to take those decisions. You can get a lot of data. You can see how the market is behaving, so you can take the best decisions. Every vertical is using NFTs technology, and even if you don't see it, or even if you don't know that. And remember to have fun. I think we should be grateful for working in such a great space that is going to enable so much innovation in the future. So we should all have fun while doing that. So yeah, I think thank you so much. I kind of rushed a bit through the last slides, so I'm pretty sorry about that. If you want to talk more about all the things that I've shared, feel free to reach out to me on X or Telegram, or visit DappRadar to learn more about the whole, to have a holistic view of the market. So thank you so much.